tpspeed with their run of Inscryption. tpspeed, take it away.
Hey folks, I am tpspeed, and like Rubicante said, this is going to be Inscryption. For those of you familiar with the game, you might notice that we're past the tutorial. Timing doesn't start at the tutorial, it's going to start when a particular piece of dialogue comes up. But I'm not going to waste too much time, and we're going to dive straight in, but I do want to give y'all a quick content warning for some of the stuff in the game. In the first 30 minutes of the run, there's going to be some images of self-harm and body horror. So if that's not something you're super comfortable with, you can just like minimize, go to another tab, and then come back in about like 30 minutes or so, and that'll all be gone. So without further ado, we're going to get started in 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Inscryption, which is a deck-based, a deck-building roguelike game, where you're sitting at a table, like Rubicante lovingly said. There's a pair of white eyes facing across from us, like any good sleep paralysis demon. And as you're progressing through this board game, he's teaching you how to play this card game. Card can talk to you, such as the Stoat here. Weird things start happening. And immediately, you might notice, I'm not playing anything. I'm not doing anything at all. I'm not playing a single card. Reason being is to actually advance into the story of this game, you need to die. You need to die a minimum of 2 times. So we're trying to do that as quickly as possible. And we're coming up now into a secret of this game. You can get up from the table. And we're going to solve some puzzles here. Very quickly. Like I said, since I'm breezing through this really quickly, I know, but Act 1 starts out really, really fast with explanations, and I'll explain what each space does when we get into like a slower segment. During these first 2 deaths, what we do is we solve some of the puzzles that we have to do right now that we would normally be solving later in like a casual playthrough of the game quicker when we get to those acts. So right now we just opened up that safe and there was nothing in there except a pile of meat. That's going to change in about like 2 minutes or so, a little bit less depending. And now we've lost because I am so bad at this game. But that's okay, because our friend is just going to reach across and give us a very nice hug. With his very large hands. And this is another mechanic of Inscryption, which is the death card. Every time in Act 1 exclusively, when you die, our friend here, I'm going to try my best to keep names a secret, because it will come up later. When you die, our friend here wants you to design a card as like a memento for the occasion. And the card that you design is going to be added into the random card pool for stuff that you can add to your deck. So everything that we did just now manipulated it so that we could get these exact stats, cost, and sigils put onto this card specifically. And again, you might be wondering, Speed, I have no idea what any of these words you are saying mean. I will explain it, I promise. It's just these first 2 deaths, everything goes very fast. So here, we're going to get introduced to a new mechanic, which is called Bones. I'm not going to bother going through it. Self-harm coming up. That's what the pliers do, by the way. And the... Oh, I didn't want to play that squirrel. Whatever. Slightly slower, but it'd be like that. So what's going to happen now is we're going to lose this game again, and the reason why we're using these items is because we're setting up a potential chance to get an extremely important item, and if we don't get it, we're going to be very sad. But if we're lucky, when we hit that item space over there, we're going to get a goat in the jar. Also, this is the stink bug. We love the stink bug. We're going to talk to her. She's going to add herself into our deck, take this key, open up that cabinet, grab this figurine, turn around, and go back to the board. And now we're going to take specifically the cockroach, and if we're lucky, when we make our next death card, we're going to be able to put the cockroach's sigil onto... Oh, thank God! I was so worried about that. We're going to put the cockroach's sigil onto our next death card. And now, very importantly, we do need to play the black goat here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put here this, and then I'm going to tribute this off over here. And now we're just going to lose the game.
Speed, I have to say you are also, in addition to speedrunning this game, you are speedrunning a total number of entries to r/brand new sentence.
Listen, yes, but that's not the point here. Unfortunately, this play here against our opponent is random. It's one of the few random moments in Act 1, in the first 2 lives of Act 1, where he can play like a handful of things. He can play 2 sparrows like he did there. He can play a coyote and I think it's a bullfrog, and that's the one that you really want. No, bullfrog and... No, it's a coyote and porcupine. And you really want that one because he does the most damage to you and kills you in 2 turns. But unfortunately, we didn't get it, but that's alright. Slightly slower. We're going to take his camera, try to trick some pictures with him, and that does not work out. Because there's no film of the camera. And so now we're going to design our next death card. If we don't get this one, okay, cost 2. Okay, nope, that's unfortunate. It's not the end of the world if we don't get the cockroach's sigil onto anything, but it is what it is. You might see me reach over and press a button on my keyboard. I have a timer going on my own just in case, so I can kind of keep track of where I'm at. We're going to do a handful of things proper now, since we're now officially set up to beat the game. We're going to get up from the table and start solving some puzzles here. We're going to go here and solve this one. There we go. We have to solve both of these. I did this in a weird order than I am used to. The whole point of these sliding tiles is you want to set it up so that way you're doing 5 damage to your opponent immediately, which is an instant win. And by doing that, we're going to open up these drawers, get some rewards, the wooden head of a squirrel, and a card called the Stunted Wolf. And the Stunted Wolf we need because it's going to affect something in the cabinet itself. Okay, I didn't get anything great here. I'll just take the Raven's Egg. I can get rid of it later.
The Stunted Wolf only goes a whoa instead of a woo.
Exactly. Well, we technically haven't gotten the Stunted Wolf yet. We got the Caged Wolf. I just misspoke. So now, as to why we wanted the black goat, and why we got the wooden head of a squirrel. So, the space that we just went across is known as the Wood Carver. And the Wood Carver, very quickly, self-harm coming up. The Wood Carver will give you totems that can enhance the strength of your totems and pass on special abilities. I forgot to play a card. Whoops. Slightly slower, but that's okay. It'll give your cards like passive sigils that they will have. And the reason why we wanted to get the black goat is because to play cards in Inscryption, you needed tribute for cost, kind of like sacrificing to summon monsters. Oh my god, the magpie! That's so good! Wow. You need to tribute monsters like in Yu-Gi-Oh! To summon them, and with I call it the perfect tribute. I'm not 100% sure what it's actually called in the game files, but with that, you are able to treat a card that has that sigil as 3 tributes. So because of that, we can immediately summon the wolf and do a bunch of damage, and that's going to be our strategy for most of the game. I misplayed pretty badly here, but that's alright. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to block some damage here. I should not have done that. I should have put the goat. Or pulled from the squirrel deck. If I lose here, it's not that big of a deal. Misplayed again. But now I have another wolf. So this is a little bit slower than I would have intended it to be, but that's alright. Can I... Okay, yeah, he's gonna concede to me, that's why. Occasionally, if a match goes on to a certain point, Leshy will concede to you. You really don't want to see that because that's very slow. Most of Act 1 is going to be setting up our deck so that we can win on turn 1. And also future-proofing some stuff for the final encounter, which, with the Magpie, we can officially do that. So now I'm going to go left here and take the bonfire. The bonfire space, whenever you run into it, there's a 50-50 chance it'll boost either your attack or your health, but the first time you run into it, it will always boost your attack. So because of that, we're going to set our wolf to 4-2 immediately. So it has 4 strength, 2 health. In terms of mechanics and gameplay for Inscryption, when you're actually like playing the game on the table itself, this one right here, I'm going to put it here, just so I can take care of the pronghorn and not take a bunch of damage right now. Do this here. This is going to be a slower victory, but it's still a victory right away. Cards are very similar. I like to describe Inscryption as a cross between Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering. Everything is divided up into 4 lanes. If a card is in front of another one in a lane, instead of doing damage to your opponent... Ooh, the Mantis is really good. Instead of doing damage to your opponent, it'll do damage to the card once it runs out. Ooh, that's really good. Sorry, I gotta focus on items here, and I'll take the squirrel there. Instead of doing damage to your opponent, it'll do damage to the card. If there's no cards in front of your lane, it will do damage to your opponent. Objective of the game is to do 5 damage. And now we're coming up against our first boss, the Prospector, which can be a bit tricky on your first attempt, and all bosses have a unique gimmick to them. And I think I just won on this turn, depending on what this is. Yep, I won right now. So I'm going to play this here, and this one here, and turn. Okay, and it's all going to depend on what this next draw is here. The Magpie is actually perfect. So now I can just do this, play the Magpie, grab the Wolf. This here, boom, boom. He's gonna move over anyway, so I'll just do this. And we win. The gimmick of the Prospector is on his second life, because each boss you have to beat 2 times. On his second life, he completely clears your board and turns them into gold nuggets that you can't sacrifice. Each boss has their own unique gimmick, and every time you beat a boss, you get a rare card. And we're looking for Ouroboros. We didn't get it. I will take Gek, though, because Gek is crazy. Oh, excuse me. Gek is really, really, really good. And now we're going into this swamp. For the most part now, it's just a pretty chill run. I know I blitzed through a lot of explanation really quickly for the game, but that's just kind of the nature of what happens with this game. There's a lot to explain very fast, because it's all so immediate, but once it's done, you pretty much understand it the whole way through. I'm actually going to buff the wolf now, one more time. Oh, wait, no.
Well, I know you told me before the run you were a little bit worried about Act 1, so are you less worried about Act 1 now?
Oh, I am significantly less worried about Act 1 now. There is a chance that you don't get... I am going to use the hourglass here, just so I can save a little bit of time. There is a chance that you don't get a black goat at all. It's completely random if you do. And if you don't get it, your strategy completely changes, and the fights get a lot slower, and you get sad. I'm gonna take that adder, because we do need something with poison on it later on for when we kill the moon. Yes, you heard that right. I am going to tribute off the Raven Egg, because I do not need it. So most of our deck most of this run of Act 1 is going to be building up our deck to beating the final boss, while also still having a strong enough deck that we can take care of every, like, first encounter. That's not ideal. That's a lot less ideal. We're gonna put the Gek here, because I don't want it to die. And we're gonna put Stoat here, and the Stink Bug here to reduce the damage from the Peyote. And I really want to see a wolf. I got an adder, which is not great, but you know what? We deal. I don't know why I played that there. Give me a wolf, please. This is the 4/4. That's the 4/4. I can put this here, and we'll win. Like, this turn. Most of the strategy is going to just be building up to where we can summon a 4/4 wolf, eventually a 5 or so wolf. And now we're going to figure out cost. I'm going to go for a 3. A grizzly's great. There is a hidden mechanic going on in the background of Inscryption, but I'm going to save it for later to explain what it does. Just because it'll become much more apparent in Act 3 what's happening. Also, I forgot to mention, I'm playing this on console, which most runners don't do. They play this on PC, because PC is a lot faster. But that said, you can still get some very, very good times on console. I'm going to put you here. And then next turn, I can draw a squirrel, play the Stoat, search the 4 wolf. Actually, yeah, I'll just do this. Take the 4/2, and then I can win next turn.
So, while you're finishing up this round, do you have time for a quick donation?
Of course.
Awesome, because we have a $100 donation to Trans Lifeline from Sorrel.
Oh, wow.
Who says, woohoo, Trans Lifeline, less than 3. Let's see some hearts in chat for Trans Lifeline and Trans Rights chat. And they have put that $100 to the bonus any percent run of Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, which is coming up tomorrow. That is now $350 out of $500, so just $150 away from more Marathon. And who doesn't like more Marathon? Other incentives you can put your donations towards right now. We have the Super Metroid Map Randomizer, Save the Animals. Chat, we're furries. We gotta save the animals. That is at $294 out of $750. And then finally, there is a bid war for the Japanese or English on Mega Man X7 coming up here in about 5 hours, I think. Right now, English is at $20.01. Japanese is at $11, so $9.02, and you can swing that in favor of Japanese if you want to hear the Japanese voices on Mega Man X7. Speed, it looks like you're into another boss battle.
Yeah, it's over. So that was the Angler. Normally the Angler can be pretty tough. If you let the fight go on, Mantis God's incredible. If you let the fight go on too long, the Angler will start stealing your cards, which can be a little iffy. But his gimmick is, after the first round, is he will summon he will fill up the board to block your cards with chum buckets. And when that happens, literally all you need to do is just have anything with flying, or the fan, which I used, which will give your cards flying for the turn, and you beat him, and it's not even a problem. And that's what we did. We're coming up into our third boss here pretty soon. I'm gonna put the Gek here. Squirrel here. I'm gonna tribute for the black goat, and then play the stink bug here so I don't take as much damage. This is going to be slightly slower, but if I draw... Is this the 4? No, that's the 3. I'm gonna put this here. This is a very iffy situation I find myself in right here. If I lose here, it's not like the end of the world. Most of most of the time, like, losing once isn't that bad, because you have to lose twice to lose the game. But it's also not that bad if I go into a boss and I don't have the smoke. I'm just gonna take the loss here. It's not that big of a deal. Okay. Yeah.
Well, chat, what that means is Speed is giving you more time to get donations in, because I don't have any more to read. And we want to help Trans Lifeline, so get those donations in.
Hey, nice. So, now I get to add a stronger card to my deck. I'm gonna add the Wolf Cub. Yes, please, donate. Sorry, I'm very focused because Act 1 is the most difficult part of the run, and it happens immediately. Once we get out of this boss fight, though, it gets significantly easier. All we have to do is just get to the boss fight. So now... we got a Grizzly, which is really... I can win this turn. Yeah, we're good. Play you here, and that's that. Most of our deck now is pretty much set up to the point where we can pretty reliably win on the first turn. It's going to really depend on our opening hand.
So what you're saying is, if you get that Grizzly, your opponent can't bear it?
Hey! I am a sucker for puns, so this is your moment to let them rip.
Chat, you heard our runner. They said it. Donate with puns.
Please, I am begging you. This space is the Mycologist. Mycologist is actually really good because they take any duplicates that are in your deck, and they combine them together into one very strong card. So immediately our wolf... Oh wow, this is a very bad hand. Our wolf that was originally at what's here? At 3-4, I want to say, somewhere around there. Is now... Oh, nope, we just win here. Oh, I actually didn't want to do that. Whoops. Whatever. I will play you here. So I am significantly less likely to lose. There we go. I am going to want you. Put you here, and that's the game. Yeah, as you can see now, our wolf's at 8-6. Which is, unless you get exceedingly lucky, almost never going to happen in any normal run. I'm going to take the 2 cost, add another wolf. And we're gonna go for items here. Our items don't really matter, we're gonna lose one of them anyway. I'm gonna take the pliers, I'm gonna take a squirrel just for safety. And some of you who have played this game might be familiar with that jar. You actually do not need to take it to finish the game. We're gonna grab this dagger, and this dagger is going to be very important for what's about to happen right now. This is your moment to know very extreme self-harm is about to show up in a second. In an ideal world, we won't use it until phase 2 of the Trapper, but if I need to, I can use it in the first phase and be okay. And that's actually really good. We just won this turn. Nope. Put this here. Get the wolf. And I'm gonna use the squirrel now to play the wolf right here. Alrighty. And so, to continue the game, you do need to do what you are about to see. And I'm very sorry. But this is going to be the worst of it. This is like the last thing of self-harm, anything like that, that's going to show up in the game. So we're going to use it. Heads up. Yeah, you stab out your eye and you do an immediate 4 damage to your opponent, which that's an almost instant win right then and there. So stage 2 of the Trapper isn't really that bad, but unfortunately, we're down an eye, and we need to be able to see. If we can't see, how do we play the game? Check all of these one last time for Ouroboros. I'll take the Amalgam. That's unfortunate, but that's okay. Our friend here is now going to give us an eye, and I don't know about you, but I'm feeling this fancy one. Oh, that's weird. I got circles. Find salvation in Cuckoo Clock. Well, I mean, we are speedrunners, and we do pay attention to time quite often, so it might be good to check your watch. Might be good to check the time. We're going to go ahead and get up here. We're going to go here, and I'm just going to do this for safety. I'm going to set the hands to 11 o'clock. We're going to get a very fancy ring. And there's the stunted wolf. And hey, look at that. There's a piece of film roll. I wonder what that's going to be for. We're going to go to this over here. And we're going to remove the mantis, the base mantis. And I am going to actually put it on the wolf here, just in case. Okay, so now for the culmination of pretty much everything, because now we are at the easiest fight in the entire game. I have set up everything so that this fight can go perfectly. First things first, we're going to do 2 trials against our opponent. You'll find out his name in just a little bit. And if we succeed in them, he's going to give us one of 2 great boons. We're going to take the rare cards here. And the reason why we got the ring, we won immediately. That's really good. The reason why we took the ring is because one of the trials is the Trial of the Ring, Magpie's Eye. That's really, really good. I'll explain what these all do when we get there. If you have the ring on your finger, you are guaranteed to get this trial. And ambidextrous. Perfect. We win every time now. You're guaranteed to get that trial, and you're guaranteed to win even if you don't have a ring card in your deck. A ring card could be like anything that's in a circle, effectively. So now, since we won both of those challenges, our opponent is going to give us 2 boons. One of them, the first one that we took is the Eye of the Magpie. Anytime you draw from our main deck, we get to search any single card in our deck. For those of you that are familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh! Imagine if, instead of entering your normal draw phase, you got to activate Reinforcements of the Army every single start of your turn. That's effectively what we can do. And then we also took Ambidextrous, which means we draw twice. So no matter what we do, we can search any card that we need, and we can immediately win without any hesitation. And since we have the Stoat and the Stunted Wolf, we are guaranteed to start with both of them in our hand. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play the Stoat right here. I'm going to take our superpowered wolf. I'm going to tribute off the Stoat for the Black Goat and play our wolf right here. And that's a first turn kill. This is the easiest part of the entirety of Act 1. Now for the reason why we took a poisonous card. We're going to play the Gek right here. And now we can end our turn twice, and this entire phase will be over. And our friend is going to see the moon, realize it's not giving him any advantage, and now the moon is a card and we're fighting the moon. I don't know how we're going to do this, folks. I'm terrified, I'm scared, it's very scary, and the moon's dead. A little tiny lizard just killed the moon. There you go. So...
Chat is in disbelief right now.
Exactly.
Oh my...
Also, we're not playing Inscryption. We're playing as a guy playing Inscryption. You think you know what's happening in this game. I can assure you, you don't. I'm not going to go too deep into the plot of Inscryption because I really truly believe if you have not seen this game, you really should either watch a full playthrough of it or play it yourself. It is readily available pretty much everywhere now. It's pretty cheap too. It's like $20. But do that after the marathon because, reminder, Trans Lifeline. Support trans folks.
Along those lines, do you have time for a couple donations?
Of course, now's the perfect time.
Oh, well, let's let you take a picture first. Exactly. Why don't we do
that? We just turned him into a card. And now, I'm done playing the game. I don't feel like playing it anymore. But now, why don't we just go ahead and start over? Just start a new game, you know? Get the refresh on the lore. I'm a little rusty. This is the perfect time for donations, by the way, if you have them.
Yeah. So we have 2 donations. We have a $10 donation from Mr. Shasta, who donates to Saving the Animals and says, I wanted to donate with a pun, but I'm afraid it wasn't in the cards. And we have a $50 donation from Bug, who says, love Inscryption, one of my favorite games, and that $50 is going towards English in the Japanese-English bid war for Mega Man X7. That is 2 people that Bug has just helped connect to Trans Lifeline. Every $25 we raise connects one person in need to the Trans Lifeline peer support hotline. Even a $5 donation, when combined with 4 other people donating that amount, can have an impact on someone's life. Donate now by typing !donate in chat.
Alrighty. Also, shoutouts to helping out trans folks. That's just a beautiful thing. We love it. Okay, unfortunate, didn't get the correct RNG. That's fine. So, now we're into Act 2, and the game looks dramatically different. We're not 3D anymore. Just the game is very, very different now, and takes on a whole different feel as well. So, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of Inscryption, what's really going on here. As you could probably guess by what we were just playing, that was not the original version of Inscryption. What we're playing now is. This is what Inscryption is supposed to be. A 2D card game RPG that you're supposed to replace. The plot of the game within the game is you are supposed to be replacing one of the main scribes that create cards in a world that does not know them. So you pick a particular starting deck, get all of their cards, and go about to defeat the other scribes. So that way you can replace the starter deck that you picked. And the one that we took was Grimoire, which is focused on Bones. Bones was a mechanic that was introduced in Act 1 that I didn't really go into, but super simply, the way Bones work is whenever a creature dies, anyway, be it they're tributed or they're destroyed, we also have a new mechanic, the Hammer there. Whenever a creature dies, you're given a bone token, and a bone can be used as a resource to summon anything. And that's all that this deck does, is it generates bones, so that way you can keep summoning stuff. Okay, we didn't get it there. That's totally fine. So, what we're doing now is we're building up our deck for Act 2, and it's going to be the deck that we use throughout the rest of it. And if you're very lucky, you can get the card that I just got, the Bone Heap there, without having to go to the merchant, but unfortunately I didn't get it, but that's okay. The run's still doable without getting it that early. So now what we want to do is something that happens in this game is when you get overkill, you get extra currency. And so now in this fight, we need to do 20 points of overkill damage, which Bone Heap is going to help us do. So I'm just going to set it up here just so that we won't lose. The important part is just surviving until we get Bone Heap and generating enough bones to activate its ability. That's perfect, actually. I need some... Actually, no, I don't need anything to block that 3-1. It'd be good if I had something, but I don't need it. I will need something to do that. I hope. Okay, yeah, there we go. That's good. And so now at this point, it's just going to be us dealing as much damage as we can, slowly walking our opponent down to 1 health remaining, and from there, dealing as much damage as we possibly can. You can still succeed in Act 2 if you don't do 20 points of overkill. Like, it's not a deal breaker, but it makes it a lot easier if you can. I'm going to put this here because we need to get specifically 42 bones total. So I'm going to put this here to get generate 3.
While you are working up to 42 bones, welcome in, Raiders. We are raising money for Trans Lifeline. Type !donate in chat to learn how you can help those in need.
This could cut it close, but we'll see. Okay, yeah. I don't think I'm gonna get the full amount, but should still get a pretty decent amount here. I have to go for this now because I have 0 cards, and if you have 0 cards, the exhaustion mechanic kicks in, and that is not fun and is actually very scary. So we're going to do 18 points, I think? Yeah, that should still be fine. Worst case scenario, we have like a slightly smaller deck, but that's not the end of the world. We're also taking some stuff from this area here, the crypt, for a puzzle we're going to solve later. I can also actually now start calling the scribes by their names. This is Grimora, the scribe of the dead, and the guy that we were fighting in the first act was Leshy, the scribe of the beast, and he makes cards using his camera, which is why the camera was putting everything into cards. For safety, I just grabbed that clover there. Basically, in my opening hand, I can use the clover to re-roll and get a better hand. We're going to go ahead and go into the safe here and put in 273, the code that I put in the first time. We're going to take just a pile of meat, just a big old pile of meat. And this is the important card that I just bought, the Ouroboros. And the reason why the Ouroboros is so important is because every time the Ouroboros dies, it gains 1/1 in stats. Okay, I need 1 more card. I'm going to take the zombie, and we'll just call that a day. So, the way that we have our deck currently set up now, we have effectively... How do I put this? The game has an algorithm put into it known as the fair hand mechanic. So, the game doesn't want to... Realistically speaking, if you were playing any card game, the odds of you drawing exactly what you need all of the time, very, very, very low. And the devs knew that this wouldn't be fun. They knew it wouldn't be a good time to just draw a card, a full hand of cards that you can't play. So what they did was they introduced the fair hand mechanic, and it's an algorithm that can determine... Sorry, I got distracted because I'm focused on making sure that I don't die. It's an algorithm that effectively makes it so that you are guaranteed to start your game with cards that you can play in a sequence that you can play them. And what we're doing now is we're getting our Ouroboros to 4/4, not 5/5, but 4/4, and winning this game here. There's a specific reason why we're not going to 5/5, and it's because there is a fight later where it is required, well, not required, it's guaranteed that the Ouroboros is going to die, and there's nothing we can do about it. So it's faster to get him to 4/4 now, and have cards like All My Skeletons that can do 1 damage and deal 5 damage that way, as opposed to just going into 5/5 immediately. If you go into 5/5 like right away, when the Ouroboros dies then, they will only, or they'll have 6/6 stats, and every time you win, you will gain a piece of currency, and that loses you, I think, like 10-20 seconds over the whole run. But yeah, now we're coming into this portion here. We're just gonna move this trap along, and oh, look, a bunny. Let's go say hi to the bunny. Hello, friend. Hello. Oh.
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 Look away, chat. Look away.
Just to look away from Bun. Oh no, it's too late. Inscryption. Why?
I was gonna say, Speed, I think it's also worth pointing out that when you say every time Ouroboros dies, it gains 1/1 in stats, that's not just for the current round, it's permanently, correct?
Yes, that's actually, thank you for bringing that up. Part of the reason why we want to see Ouroboros in Act 1, I've only ever gotten it like twice, because it's a rare card. It's not likely to spawn. But if you get Ouroboros in Act 1, all of its stat buffs it gets in that act carry over into Act 2 and future acts of the game. So, oh wow, I didn't get it. Okay, there we go. That would have been pretty bad. Unfortunate draw here. I'm going to put you here. And we're just gonna hope for a skeleton. Even if I don't get it, I still win this turn, which is fine. There it is. Okay. But yeah, the Ouroboros gets absurdly strong if you get it early enough. Oh, perfect. This is so good. So now we're just going to go ahead and spam the board with our minions here. And we win, pretty soon here. I'm gonna play this zombie here to block the bear. We win next turn. We are gonna do some overkill, but that's totally fine. I should also mention the Ouroboros split was a rainbow split. we love seeing that. I'm a little below average right now, but that's totally fine. The fact that we got out of Act 1 at all is a miracle. Because most runs will just die in Act 1. And so now there is a little thing that we're going to do here. We're going to quit out of the game because this actually skips a cutscene. Normally what happens is you finish your duel with Leshy, you go to leave his cabin, and then Poe or PO3 shows up. Some people call him PO3, I prefer to call him Poe. He shows up and brags to Leshy about getting free and is like, you thought you would make me the stoat forever. Well, it sucks to suck, nerd. And just rubs it in. But by quitting back to the menu, we skip that, and we get to save our buddy Leshy the trouble. And there's a reason Leshy's not that bad of a guy. He put us through some pretty heinous stuff, but compared to everybody else, except maybe Grimora, Leshy is a very stand-up dude. But by doing that, we just skip the cutscene, and now we're going to go into Grimora, which is where we're going to get our final Ouroboros buff. Just going to solve some puzzles here. Thank the Lord I have my cheat sheet here. I forgot to get an epitaph. Don't mind that crypt. If you go in there and talk to it, the Bone Lord shows up. Royal was not hit by falling ice. He was brought down by scurvy. There we go. Sawyer Patel was eaten by a hungry dog. Does not hold a grudge. So at least that's nice. He doesn't mind that he got eaten. And Casey got hit by ice. And now we're going to fight Grimora. So Grimora is one of the few bosses across the whole game where it is impossible to win on the first turn. Because she has a card that has the guard dog sigil. As soon as you play it, it hops over to the card in front of the last card that was played, or the most recent card that was played. I also just realized I didn't explain sigils at all. Sigils are basically just like special abilities. They're card text, effectively.
Oh, fuck.
That's a naughty word, Carter. You can't be saying that. So here, just by cleverly setting this up.
Excuse me, Inscryption. That's a donation in the swear jar to Trans Lifeline.
That's going straight to the swear jar. And technically, since it's a game, it can't make that donation. Chat, can you spot them the difference?
Well, I do have one donation right now that may help spot the difference, if you have a second.
Of course, this is perfect time.
All right, we have $10 from Zarfi or Bregal Bash saying shoutouts to all the volunteers behind the scenes doing a fantastic job so far serving up this event. Yes, shoutouts to tech team, volunteers, everybody putting this on. We could not do it without all of them. Now, you can always type !donate in chat to donate, but if you want other ways to help out with Trans Lifeline, we're thrilled to partner with Timberwolf Trading to bring our Fall Fest 2023 marathon shirts to you. Use the command !merch in chat to browse all the Fall Fest 2023 designs from Rotom, Flux, Autumn Wyvern, and Blue. $5 from every shirt goes to Trans Lifeline.
Yes, massive shoutouts to the tech team. I've done a lot of marathons in the past, and this kind of thing cannot happen without a very, very strong tech and volunteer team. So I just want to take a moment just to give quick shoutouts to everybody behind the scenes. You guys are doing so much work, and I can't imagine like the amount of time and effort you're putting in by doing a full like non-stop marathon. I tried to do that once, and that was wild. That was an experience.
Almost like furries are renowned for being good at tech or something.
I know, right? Who'd have thought? Alrighty. So now that our Ouroboros is at 5-5, because of the fair hand mechanic, we're pretty much guaranteed to draw it in our opening hand every single time. If we don't, we can just re-roll to get it. If I want to be extra safe, I can go back into the deck edit screen and remove the zombie, but I feel like living on the edge, so we're just gonna roll with it. And now we're just gonna solve some basic puzzles here, meaning I look at my cheat sheet and call it a day. And now we meet the most important character of the run. Chad, if you can, I would love it if you spammed the word stimulation as much as possible, as many A's in there as you can. Because our friend here, the Lonely Wizard, is going to be extremely important. There's also something you may have noticed too in the bosses for Act 2, the music changes. And that leads to one of my favorite little things that happens in Act 2. We're going to go against Magnificus, the scribe of magics. He makes all of his cards by painting them with a paintbrush. Fun fact, by the way, if you can't figure out what to do in the main, like, Act 1, every time you die, Magnificus will show up after your third death and give you a painting of what to do. It's actually kind of cool. It's like a subtle hint system. Alright, now everyone get ready. Our boy's coming. There he is. Look at our happy little guy just dancing. Look at him go. He's got the schmoves. And that's Magnificus.
You know, with that hat, every time they show up as just the eyes in the hat, I can't help but think of them as like Ralsei from Deltarune. So
I know, right?
Imagine Ralsei going like stimulation.
Stimulation. Also, pay no mind to the fact that Magnificus just vanished. Everything's fine. The game's working as intended. Don't worry about it. No one panic. I'm going to bring this up now, since I've already quit out of this of the game and gone back to the menu, because it's going to become very important in a second. You might start seeing the game lag a bit. Don't freak out. It's not the stream. It's just the game, because Inscryption on consoles is an experience. Every time you quit out and go to the main menu, it adds a little bit of lag frames. And the more you quit out and go to the menu, it gets worse. And depending on the split we get after this one, it could either get very bad to the point where ending a turn takes about like a second to 2 seconds, to there's no noticeable difference at all. So now we're just going to go ahead and win this here. There's actually a very funny fight that's going to pop that I'm going to mention when it shows up here. Also, we're coming into another NPC here. Let me solve circuit puzzles real quick. Circuit puzzles are difficult because my brain does not function on numbers.
Well, an important number right now is 9,822. Chat, we are $178 away from 10,000. I want you to make me wake up everyone in my apartment building by going insane. Can we hit 10K during this run? I think we can. Let's do it.
I fully believe that we can. We have about, like, a little less than an hour left, and I've seen so many people. I've seen marathons rally around a bunch of stuff, and I know y'all can do it. You are all a wonderfully caring group of people, and I believe in you. Excuse me while I focus on circuitry, because, again, I do not function on numbers. Okay, there we go. Also, pay no mind to the text that guy was saying, the help me, let me out. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Nothing's fine. We're not playing a cursed video game. We're not playing a game literally made by Satan. We're fine. There's nothing about it. Not a thing. Don't worry about it. How are you today? How are you doing? You there in chat and Rubicante. How are you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Just okay?
I'm fabulous.
You are fantastic. You're doing great. Fun fact about this fight, by the way, no matter what you do, this guy will just surrender because he doesn't want to play the game. But it is faster to beat the game, to beat him in one turn. Like, you could literally end his turn and he's just like, I don't wanna, bye. Also, don't worry about the glitching text. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
What glitching text?
Exactly. See, you're catching on. That's what I like about you. You pay attention. All right, and now we're coming into Poe. This fight in Act 2 is the one that requires a little bit of strategy in terms of the bosses, because as you might notice, there are conveyor belts. So now, at the start of my turn, everything is going to move to the left. But since we set up our Ouroboros, when he does this, and clones all of them, they move to the left, and we have an opening to win the game.
So what you're saying is this is the point where Inscryption turns into Satisfactory.
Exactly. This is the moment when it asks us to cha-cha real smooth. And now we're coming into the end of Act 2. We have one more duel, and it's kind of difficult. It's a pretty rough part of the run. The scribe that we're going to go against is going to play a 99-99 card, and we have to beat them. We have to get past it. So, here we go. We're going to go against Poe, which is not who we originally picked, but we're going to do it, because we have to. And he's going to start the duel, and it's going to depend on this first card here. Nope, that's a surrender. We lost. Aw, no, we got the Ouroboros. We could have won. Don't worry about this. Nothing's going on. Don't worry about it.
So speaking of Poe, we've had a bit of discussion in chat about what pronouns Poe uses. So what are your thoughts on this, Speed?
So here's the thing about Poe. It's hard to give Poe gendered pronouns because Poe is a computer. Daniel Mullins calls Poe he. The characters in the game call Poe he. I refer to them as they, just because how do you define gender to a computer? Also, we're 3D now. Welcome to the third dimension. And it is my understanding that we did meet the 2 incentives for this, right?
We absolutely have met the 2 incentives. So chat, you are going to get Tomato Audition. You are not ready for Tomato Audition.
This was another rainbow split, by the way. You guys are not, you folks are not ready for the tomato audition, but we've still got some time before it shows up. So welcome to Act 3.
Steel yourselves. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Prepare yourselves for the hype of the tomato audition, which is exclusive to console, by the way. Welcome to Act 3. The beginning of Act 3 is the next hardest part of the run. So, main reason being is because we're introduced to new mechanics. Lots of new stuff is happening right now. There's a lot of cards showing up. It's weird, it's scary. Don't worry, I'm here. I will take care of you. Everything will be okay. So, right now, we pretty much have a deck of nothing cards that we can't do much with, like, at all. So, the objective here is to just pretty much survive and build up the deck that we're going to have to beat the game as best we can while we're here. And the new mechanic that we have introduced is energy. When we were playing through the base game, if you will, you might have noticed some little blue cylinders lighting up in the top left corner. Energy effectively functions like mana in Hearthstone. You start with a maximum capacity of 1 at the start of the game, and then every turn, your max capacity goes up. By the end of this, we are going to have a 1-cost card with bifurcated strikes, so instead of attacking forward, it attacks to the left and to the right of the card, of the column that it is put in. And we are going to have it, and we're going to be able to summon it immediately, like on the first turn. But that requires quite a setup, and we have to get that setup done. We have to get that setup done first. So right here now, I'm just clearing the way so that way I can get to my win condition pretty quickly, which is going to be the double gunner here. I'm going to set this up so that I can prevent as much damage as possible. And now, as soon as I play double gunner, I pretty much win immediately, no matter what Poe does. If there is anything to plug or any other donations that come in, now is going to be a perfect time, because most of the run for Act 3 is going to be this.
Well, I do have a donation to read, and that is from Rokon, who sends in $13 and says, did somebody say $10,000? Have to donate while things are still perfectly normal. And that $13 is going towards saving the animals in Super Metroid. Yes, I did say $10,000. We are $165 away. Chat, you can do this. I flabbergast me. We can do this. I believe. We believe. Take our energy.
It is 100% possible. We got this. Like under $200 is totally doable. It is 100% possible. You have the power. Make it happen. You beautiful, beautiful people.
I will sing the Transformers song if that's what it takes. You got the touch. You got the power. Okay, no wait, no, we're gonna get DMCA'd. No.
Yeah, you're right. Let's cut that out. Edit that out, editor. Alright, so now we have a handful more duels, and remember, so a quick conversation, or a quick mention. You might remember that fair hand mechanic I brought up in Act 1. Act 3 is where it's going to get extremely exploitable, and it's going to be even further exploitable because we're playing on console. On the PC run, you actually have to play this quite a bit differently. Main reason being is because the fair hand mechanic functions very differently to how it functions on console. Instead of doing all the stuff that I'm doing to guarantee that you can get the card that we're going to use to win the game in the first turn right away, what you actually do is you thin your deck out as much as possible so that you pretty much only have like 4 or 5 cards in it. And by doing that, you are guaranteed to draw your instant win card every single time. Like, it's that easy. No, I still win. We're good. I was worried for a second, because this fight does trip me up. Alright. And now that we've gotten here, Poe is going to introduce a new mechanic to us and let us get up from the table. But we're going to solve some outside the game puzzles here. You might remember the drawers from Leshy's cabin. Well, here's 2 of them right now. Here we go. We're going to get this device here, which is a reusable item. The thing that's nice about Act 3 and what makes it so much easier is that... I want to do this actually. You got. Will make Act 3 so much easier. Also, stimulation, if you will. What makes Act 3 so much easier versus Act 1 is all of the there's only 3 items in the game, and they're all reusable. So, sorry, I'm solving CAPTCHA. I have to prove that I'm not a robot, which is kind of ironic. But all the items are reusable, and they're all very, very strong relative to the game that you're playing. The one that we got is the bomb remote. So when we use it, it fills our board, our entire board, with bomb spaces. I actually don't want to do this. I'm going to quit out because I just realized I messed up. We have some RNG to deal with. So,
while that is going on, chat, $10,000 is 400 people connected to Trans Lifeline. 400 people whose lives are changed for the better. 400 people who can get micro grants for correcting names on or gender markers on their legal documents, receiving gender affirming hair removal. 400 lives. Chat, $10,000. We can do this.
Okay, unfortunate. So what I'm going for here is this is the portion of the this is the portion of the run that we call RNG heck. We need to get a buff put onto the Lonely Wizbot. And the buff that we're looking for is Bifurcated Strike. It is a 1 in 3 chance that we will get it, and if we don't get it, we have to reset, walk out, walk in, and to advance RNG, and go again. And you remember how I brought up the lag thing for playing on console? This is where it starts to get really bad. This is like the worst of it. I've had it happen where I get it first try. I've had it happen where I get it 10th try. In my PB, I got it on the 2nd try. But you can still get a decent run if it happens later. It's not the end of the world.
So, chat, may I suggest a $1 donation for every try?
We're currently at 2. We are currently at 2 tries. If enough of you commit, we could very easily cross that 10k barrier. And I know we can. That is not the card that I want, but I will use it to check RNG anyway. Okay, we didn't get it anyway, so it doesn't matter. That's 3.
There are 199 of you out there watching right now. $1 from every one of you would put us over that. But don't just donate $1 because then PayPal will eat all the fees. So
PayPal will just consume it.
Yes.
We're currently at $3 right now for charity.
Yes, as Mr. Shasta in chat puts it quite rightly, if everyone donated right now, we would have more donations for the charity. So.
Okay, 4th try. It was 4th try that we got bifurcated.
All right.
So
I will throw in my $4 later, but I will throw in my $4.
I will also throw in my $4 on top of the 10 I donated earlier.
I'll probably throw in more than 4, but you know.
Honestly, that's fair. That's fair. That's very fair. So we now have Bifurcated Strike, which makes this go so much smoother. Because now our Wizbot on empty spaces will deal 4 damage a turn, which is very, very, very strong. Thankfully, we didn't get that much lag, it doesn't look like, so it might be a little iffy at times, but not too bad.
Also, can I just say, I love the fact that the cards you were drawing have now turned into floppies.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of great. Side note, this game, its logo on the PS Home menu is a red floppy disk. It's just a stylized pixelated floppy disk. Okay, so for this fight here, they're going to play 2 EXE skeletons, which have 2/2 stats, so we just block 1 to prevent a bunch of damage. And now, we're going to go ahead and play the Wizbot here. Deal 2 damage. The sentry drones won't attack, they will only attack whatever's put in front. Unfortunately, we got the character right away, but you know what? That's fine. I'm going to play Sniper Bot here. And take the shot right there. And then I win next turn. Because I can just play pretty much anything and we'll be set. There we go. As long as I play it in the right spot. Or not, I guess. I didn't realize that Casey had that. Okay. Alright, that's... But if I do this... We recovered, we got there. We got there eventually. Okay. That was a slightly slower fight, but we recovered. We got this. We're good. This is why Act 3 is a little tricky. It's just because each fight is rough. So, at this point now, all I have to do for the fair hand mechanic to kick in Act 3, and this only works because I'm playing it on console. Like I mentioned earlier, on PC you would be doing something different. On console, since now I have no other 2-cost energy cards in my deck, I am guaranteed every time to draw the Lonely Wizbot. On PC, like I mentioned, you would basically mill down your deck completely to the point where you only have a shield bot here. To the point where you only have, like, the Wizbot in your hand, effectively. Gonna do 2 damage, but if I play literally anything, I win. So, there we go. And now, for, after this fight, we're going to get to the point where it gets a little tricky, because there is a risk-reward kind of thing for using the Wizbot and the strat that we're about to do. Because now we're going to turn the Wizbot into our 1-turn victory card. And that is with the Overclock. The Overclock buff gives our card 1 attack, just 1. If it dies, it's completely removed from our deck. So going forward, we do not want the Wizbot to die, which, you know, goes without saying because the Wizbot is an absolute icon and we love them. But really don't want it to go. We want to have it stick around as much as we can.
While you're playing through this fight, do I have time for a couple donations?
Of course.
All right, we have $10 and $4. Both of them are from Anonymous. Both of them are going towards the bonus any percent run. And I also want to make a point. Everyone who's watching, we understand that not everyone can financially donate. We get that. Spread the word about the marathon. Let people know it's happening. Get them here. Get them watching. It's just as important. Thank you all for everything you're doing this weekend to help us raise money for Trans Lifeline.
And now, for something that you all lovingly donated for while we're talking about donations. I didn't want to cut in earlier to that very beautiful sentiment, but I think you all earned a little bit of a, I think you earned some music. Some very, very good music. So if we could just have a quick moment of silence while this computer program totally goes into my computer and not something simulated. I think it's time for you all to hear the tomato audition.
Oh, you've chosen to submit me to this racket.
That's the tomato audition. So, Poe's boss fights throughout all of Act 3, they give a particular they have a particular gimmick that involves game design or computers in some way. In this one, Poe gets access to your computer and will have you pick out files relative to their size or their age, and will assign damage or give cards in this instance relative to how big they are or how old they are. And in the case of an older file, Poe tells you, hey, if this card is destroyed, I'm gonna delete this file from your computer. They don't actually do that. They don't. They ask you to play along and just delete it from your computer yourself for immersion, which is kind of funny, considering that the oldest file that you could pick is your operating program. On PC, you just pick any of like the really large files that you have. I think the community has has one that they have set up on like a file that they pick by default. For console, since it can't access the console files, it simulates a PC and lets you do it that way. Oh, there's a little button. I did not mean to go down that way, but here we are.
I love the concept that the speedrunning community of this on PC has developed a file that is like exactly the right size.
Yeah, it's wild. On console, what you do, because getting the tomato audition is normally a little bit slower because it gives text, you would pick like 3 different files that are about the same size, and you can still get the win. It just takes slightly longer. But the tomato, you're incentivized to use the tomato, 1, because it's silly, and 2, because it is a very large file size. Alrighty. Now we're going on to our next really big, important upgrade for our deck, and that's going to be gems. Gems are introduced in Act 2, but they behave very differently from Act 2 to Act 3. In Act 2, they're just more of a mechanic where you have to have gems out on the field in order to play certain cards. In Act 3, they give certain buffs to your cards that have the gemified text on them. And we're going to give that to them right now by solving a couple more captcha. We're just going to pick a bunch of faces there to explain our emotions, and we're going to do quick math. 4, and then this is 11.
While you are capturing, can I take care of a couple donations?
Of course.
All right, we have $2.57 from Dread Optimist, who says, no incentive left behind or something. Thanks for the fun event and support for a good cause. And we have $10 from Cece, who simply says, tomato. That's going towards... tomato. That's going towards the bonus any percent run, and that means the Legend of Zelda Link to the Past bonus run is now less than $115 away from being met. And $115 is almost enough to get us to that 10,000, chat.
I fully believe minimum we can meet that incentive. We can definitely meet Link to the Past bonus game. Y'all are almost there. I believe in you. I have so much faith. Also, hello to Winterbit. I see you there. It is good to see you, friend. 10k before the run is over, it is very possible. Y'all just gotta want it bad enough.
Yeah.
And I think you do. I think you do. Just very quickly to explain what all just happened. So, we got the gem display unit for Poe, so they can display what gems are active, what they do, and everything like that. And then they asked us to pick a deck to gemify. Our side deck, which is all empty vessels, or our main deck, which is all of our actual cards. We chose to do our side deck, and we turned them all into Sapphire. So when a Sapphire card is played, if a card has a Sapphire gem on it, its energy cost will be reduced down to 1. So now, effectively, every time we start the game, our Lonely Wizbot gets reduced down to a 1/1 in stats. Or not a 1/1 in stats, a 1 cost card. And so now we're going to win this turn, but I need to use the bomb remote to do that. Something I did use in Act 2, but I kind of forgot to mention, is the hammer. The hammer does not do an instant kill. It does 100 damage to a card that it smacks. And we're going to take advantage of that to blow up our robots, our bomb bots, so we can clear out a board. Bomb bots are basically your mirror force, which is why they're so good. It's actually funny though, because the Ouroboros, since it can get buffed over and over and over again across the entire stage of the game, if you get the Ouroboros high enough, the hammer will not kill it. Which is something that's really funny.
Card versus hammer. Card wins.
Exactly. We're coming up to a very interesting boss next, which is going to be the artist. And its mechanics are interesting. It's actually a boss you have to design the mechanics for yourself. And I'll get more into that when we get to the fight proper. Here, and that's that fight. We're getting pretty close to the end of the run now. We have like 3 more boss fights, and then after that it's going through some of the like Act 4 content that is playable, and then after that it is a 6-minute auto-scroller. So for this we make the artist's face, and now we have to design the rules for this. And we're going to set it up so that every time their turn starts, there we go. One of their cards is going to gain nano armor, so it effectively becomes invincible for a turn. But that's not really going to matter for what's about to happen. We're going to fire off our battery there, get the recharge, and we need to space our cards out 1 space from each other, because at the start of the next turn, they are going to place... we're going to have to make more rules. We're going to make it so that we lose 1 life at the start of our turn now. But since we have a 3/1 card, we deal 6 damage at a turn anyway. If we put our cards next to each other, both of those bomb spaces would have spawned directly in front of our cards and blocked any damage that we would have done with the Wizbot, which can be a little dicey. But now we have to go into this upgrade here, and now we're going to get the final most important upgrade for our vessels. And that is the battery bearer. With this, whenever we play a vessel card now, we gain 1 energy permanently. So now we're guaranteed to win pretty much every fight. This is where Act 3 becomes the one of the easiest acts of the game. And we're just going to be making our way to the bosses and clearing them out. There's going to be 1 more that I am going to talk about once we get there, but I'm going to save it for there, for the fight proper. So, Rubicante, if you have anything to plug or any other donations, now is the perfect time.
I wish I had donations, but we don't have any right now. Chat, you're making me a sad Awutu. But Chat, if you need a reason to donate, for the first time ever, we're offering a grand prize to donors during Fall Fest 2023. Anyone who donates $50 or more over the course of the marathon will be eligible to win a Nintendo Switch OLED console and a copy of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which took me 5 months and 200 some odd hours to beat, and I only did like 80% of the content. So, yeah, that's a good prize!
That is a pretty good prize.
The prize bundle was funded through direct contributions of members of the Team Fastest Furs leadership team. Use the command !prizes in the chat for more detail on all of our amazing prizes. There's other stuff there you can win, like walking dog records, full catalog. I think there's a couple of like neon badges that you can win, or like a neon line sculpture of your persona. There's some really cool things in there to win. So !prizes in the chat, and keep those donations coming in.
Think of it this way, chat. Every time we miss a donation, Stimulation Bot, or not Stimulation Bot, the only Wizbot gets a little less stimulation and gets a little bit more sad, because he just wants to be out. He just wants to be out and about. Why are we doing this? Give our boy some stimulation. Give him some sunlight. Let him have a good time. This is the photographer. Their mechanic is they can take a picture of the game state, and then once they do, you can choose to revert it back to that game state, but that doesn't matter because now the fight's over. Once you get to this point in Act 3, it becomes a cakewalk. It becomes much easier. It's just getting to this point is rough. And now we have just one more boss left, and that is going to be against Golly. And Golly is a character. We're going to go up here and just do a handful more fights. I see MK Cyborg knows who Golly is.
Golly! I can't do the Link voice, sorry.
Golly is I would imagine, is a lot more high-pitched, more of like a feminine kind of voice. Kind of like a young kid, honestly. So probably something closer to, I would say, if I had to make a guess. I had to double check what I just traded away. And hope that it was not the Wizbot. Okay, no, we still have the Wizbot. I was scared for a moment. Because I have a bad habit of just mashing, and that could get you into trouble with Inscryption. If you catch it fast enough, you can quit back out before it saves, and it's like nothing happened. Alright. We have, I think, like 2 more regular fights here? No, we have a few more. Because now we are here, I have to trade and make sure that I don't get anything that's 2 cost. As long as I don't have anything that costs 2 energy, I will always start with the Lonely Wizbot in my hand, which is the most important thing. And now we're going to go here. We're getting very close to like the one moment where I will beg and plead with the devs for something, but I'm going to save that for when it shows up. Because it also influenced my outfit choice. I hope y'all like my dress, by the way.
And devs, if you're watching, you can donate to Trans Lifeline as penance for what you've annoyed them enough to to complain about on stream.
Daniel Mullins, please. I love your games. This is a wonderful game. I have sunk so many hours into this. If somehow you are watching this, please, I am begging you. Ah, my lord. Alright, not much really to explain here. This is like a gimmick fight that we ran into earlier where you have to win it in a time limit, but we're guaranteed to win it in 2 turns every time. So here we are. When I first played this casually, I got very close to losing one of these. but I also didn't have much of an understanding of how the game worked, and I was struggling. And this is Golly. So something important to note with Golly, I actually have to make sure... Nope, I'm not connected. Or am I? She shouldn't be able to. Yeah, no, we're good. Something important to note with Golly is, she connects to the internet and connects to your friends list, and tries to communicate with other people playing the game. And it's very slow if she does this. It's incredibly slow if she does this. So, in PC, you set up your firewall to block the game. On console, we can't do that, so we just turn off all of our internet, and I had to make sure that I had it off. Sorry if that freaked out anybody on tech. I should have mentioned that that was going to happen.
Yeah, shout out to your friends list, tpspeed.
That's not my actual friends. They will simulate friends lists if you don't connect to the internet.
But if I remember correctly, the same developer did Pony Island, and there was a similar thing in Pony Island, which, not to spoil too much about that game, because it's a great game and you should all play it, but it made it look like you were getting weird messages from your Steam friends list, so...
Yeah, Daniel Mullins is very smart when it comes to messing with files, and messing with the player's expectations. So, we are officially done with Act 3, and the reason why we exited out of the cutscene there is because normally what you have to do is the power goes down, Poe asks you to go check in like the lower area of the foundry on the power generator, and you meet the other scribes, and they're like, oh, this is bad, we can't be here. But by quitting out the main menu and then loading back into the game, you skip all that. And Poe's gonna monologue about how they're going to win in the end, all that. And they're going to upload the game. And it's going to get to a very, very 68%. And now, Poe is gone. We are officially at the end of the run. But we are at the point now where after all of this, we're at the point now where I am going to beg and plead with Daniel Mullins. Give us a Grimoire DLC. Just please. I want it so badly. I will throw money at you in every capacity possible if I can get a Grimoire stage DLC. It would make me so happy. And y'all are about to see this amazing aesthetic that's about to show up. It's so good, and it's only here for about a minute.
MK Cyborg in chat says, I remember having to kill Bro Sencha when I played through this.
Look, just... we're in her crypt. I didn't even, like, nobody even told me about this game. I just saw, like, a bunch of people talking about it, and I just always had it in the back of my mind of just, oh, I really want to play that. And then I just didn't. But look at this chessboard. Look at this. This is so cool. I love stuff like this. This makes me so happy and brings me so much joy. And it's only here for like 2 minutes. This is delightful.
I have to ask, when does the talk about sushi happen?
Talk about sushi is going to happen in a few more minutes. We have one other character to deal with before we get there. And I know that was a pretty vague incentive to give.
but it'll all make sense. And some of you might know what I'm talking about because I've referenced Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot. I'm sure by that y'all already know that I play Yu-Gi-Oh! And if you know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh! And Sushi, especially recent Yu-Gi-Oh!, you now know what I am talking about. Gamora is beloved. Rokon 100% agree. There is not a lot going on right now, so if you have anything at all to plug Rubicante, now is the perfect time.
I would love to read some donations, but we've been stuck on $9,861 for a while, chat. Come on, let's help us get to that 10K. 10K. In the meantime, we would like to have we'd like to extend a special shout out to Fastest Furs leadership team members Sarth and Rotim for their hard work on the creation of Cheetah, our new donation tracker and marathon management system. Their marathon simply would not be possible without their efforts. And being that I am using it right now to track donations and various other things, it is awesome. It is fantastic.
Once again, I do want to give massive shout-outs to everybody on the Fastest Furs team, who have just been so delightful and so much fun to work with when it comes to this marathon. Like, every time I have seen the community, I've heard nothing but good things. Be it from people that have worked with them, people that have ran with them in the past. It's just an absolute delight. And it's just so good that y'all are still around doing what you're doing. And I hope you all know you're appreciated. You all are wonderful. But now, we are unfortunately done with Leshy, who... And this is like the one moment where I will talk about plot, because I can relate as a DM. Leshy just wanted to have a very immersive and wonderful game to play. And that's what he sought out to do with his portion of the game. And it's kind of sad that he wasn't able to get that. But now it's time to talk about cards. So, this is a 6-minute auto-scroller. And you don't do anything in this at all, besides just wait. So in these 6 minutes, while you're stuck with me, and we're in the horror block, I want to do something truly terrifying and explain my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck to you. I'm not going to go through all the card text, but I will explain the gimmicks, and I will read the vanilla text of the card that it is based around. Also, I see Pod saying Dragon Maid deck. Dragon Maids scare me. Dragon Maids very much scare me because I still don't understand what they do at all. I play Goaty now. I play Fish. But Sue ships have a special place in my heart. This duel is amazing, by the way. You can't finish it. There's no way to finish this duel. But we're at 6 minutes, so now we have 6 minutes on the clock. So, Sue Ships is a deck that revolves around a particular vanilla card called Gunkin Sue Ship Shari, which you can see right here. The whole theme of the deck is they are very large boats made of sushi, and they go through the extra deck mechanic of Xyz summoning to simulate building up a particular sushi boat, a sushi order. And their main gimmick is you want to put Sue Ship cards on top of your deck so that you can reveal them to your opponent and then summon them or add them to your hand almost immediately. I see Tokiji, I'm so sorry if that's not how you say it, plays MTG. MTG is definitely respectable. Love MTG, so much fun. But with Sue Ship, like I said, gimmick is you put the cards on top of the deck, reveal it to your opponent, and then you can summon it or add it to your hand. And the reason why you do this is because a bunch of the cards reveal the top card of your deck, and there are some cards, such as the spell cards, such as Gunkin Sue Ship Supper Spot, or Gunkin Sue Ship Catch of the Day, right here, where if your opponent destroys a card by card effect, or that card by card effect, You deal their defense points as life point damage to your opponent and summon them back again. And the reason why they're doing that is because you are making your opponent order food. They are ordering your sushi and you are preparing it for them. Magnificus is going to cut in very rudely to talk about some vague lore mumbo jumbo that I don't understand. But we'll go through very quickly some of the card by card, as much as I can. And some of the differences, and I will also read to you the vanilla text of Gunkin Suship Shari in as dramatic as a fashion as possible to warrant the particular situation going on right now. We're just going to let Magnificus go through his whole speech, whatever, do his thing, whatever he gonna do. Alright, now that he's paying attention to me, so in this deck I run 1 Suship Supper Spot. This is because you can search it with one of the Gunkin cards. I run 3 Catch of the Day. Yes, I can search it, but you want to be able to draw it at any time because it's just a really good searcher. We run 3 Gunkin Suship Shari, which is what the deck is built around, pretty much entirely. We also run Gunkin Suship Shari Red, which is Shari dyed with red vinegar. And it treats itself as Shari pretty much anywhere, but it gets around naming clause because it doesn't treat itself as Shari in the deck. We also have our toppings, which are Shirao, which is, I believe, some form of crustacean or octopus, I'm not sure. We have Ikura, which is going to be our bro. I only run it on 1. And then we have 2 of Uni. Nope, I have another Ikura right here. It was just hidden. Magnificus, don't interrupt, man. You'll be fine. You're okay. Don't worry about it. And so now for the vanilla text of Shari. Finally got to visit that harbor specializing in Gunkin Suships that I've been curious about for a while. The premium Shari here is limited to 2,000 ships a year. Its attack is 2,000 attack. And uses specially developed smooth-aged rice, giving it extra boldness, not found anywhere else. The classy atmosphere made my heart sing, too. The Gunkin Suship served had a perfect balance of vinegar, nigiri, shine, and shine and shape. I don't know why I said shine, I'm so sorry. Demonstrating exquisite artisanship. The owner told me, we're introducing rich yet mellow-scented EDO front. That's the set that Shari Red was going to be printed in. Red vinegar in the near future, which I am really looking forward to. However, I was disappointed the surrounding seas were a little too noisy, so giving it 4 stars with hope for improvements in the future. And Gunkin Suship Shari is level 4. So that entire thing is just a big joke talking about what level it is, its attack, everything like that. And now, of course, you're gonna need something in the deck to eat it, and we run Time Thieves. I have 1 Chronocoder, 1 Diesel Ship, 3 Time Thief Regulator, look at the little robot dog, isn't he so good? 3 Time Thief Winder, which searches pretty much any other Time Thief card in the deck, and 3 Time Thief Adjuster. I also run 1 Retrograde because you want something to attach to Time Thief Redoer when you get it, and then Time Thief Startup, which searches any of your other Time Thief cards. I also run, for generic cards, 3 Rescue Rabbit, which cheats out Gunkin Suship Shari immediately by banishing the bunny. You send the bunny to the Shadow Realm and you get sushi out of it. I also have 2 Piercing the Darkness, 3 Unexpected Die, and then I have 2 more Gunkin Shari Red at the back of the deck for whatever reason. And like that, we are at the end of the 6-minute auto-scroller. I am very tired, and that was a lot. I'm going to drink some water after this run.
Out of curiosity, Speed, what's your PB on this game?
As of today, I broke the top 10 of Inscryption, no major glitches, with a 133, 42, something like that. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Timing's not going to stop yet. We're going to talk to the woodcarver here, and timing is going to end when my character vanishes after interacting with a static card. So right here. And I'm going to pull out completely because I don't want to spoil what happens next. That's something you're going to have to figure out for yourself. And so with that, I want to give quick thanks to MP Alpha, who taught me about the fair hand mechanic in Inscryption. Was delightful person to message back and forth about it. And I want to give massive thanks once again to Fastest First for letting me do this run and humoring me with the silly sushi incentive. Thank you all so much. Please continue to donate. Trans Lifeline is very important charity that I believe a lot in, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your marathon. Thank you so much for having me.
Chat, let's give it